My name is Priscilla Baker, and I'm the Biological Systems Engineering Advisor here at Virginia Tech. Biological systems engineers combine biology, chemistry, math, physics, and engineering to solve complex problems and develop solutions to some of the most pressing problems our society faces today, namely sustainable energy sources, safe water and food supplies, affordable medicine and healthcare, and conservation of natural resources. Think about what you did today. Did you use water from the faucet, eat breakfast, take prescription medicine, or put ethanol, amended gasoline in your car? A biological systems engineer influenced every one of those activities. Our faculty and students work in a broad range of biological systems, from metabolic engineering to produce valuable substances at the cellular level, to restoring water resources across the Chesapeake Bay watershed. We seek to improve animal, human, and environmental health through development and design of healthy food products, vaccines, bioenergy, biomaterials, and holistic environmental restoration designs, all in a sustainable manner. BSc students may focus their studies in career areas such as biotechnology, environmental health, food engineering, watershed management, or professions in the health fields. Now we will let some of them tell you a bit about themselves and what led them to BSc.
Hey guys, my name's Emily. I'm a senior studying biological systems engineering and I'm on the biotechnology track. I chose to go into BSc because it does a really good job of pursuing the concepts that are big in life sciences while teaching you engineering principles to solve the problems that are big in today's life science areas. So after graduation, I'm going to work in industry for a pharmaceutical company, Merck. And so far, so much of what I've learned in my BSc classes is directly translatable as to what I'm going to see in industry. And this program did a really good job preparing me for a job in the biotech industry.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm a senior in BSc on the Health Professions and Biotech track. Growing up, I wanted to be a physician, and at the same time, I wanted to be an engineer. So when I got to college, I hated the idea of just restricting myself into one of these categories. This was until I found an interdisciplinary major like biological systems engineering. With BSc, you don't have to be restricted into just one category, into following just one passion, but have the chance to embrace all of them. From the major, I was able to continue developing my skills as both an engineer and a future physician, and look to keep doing so in what I hope to become, a physician innovator. Someone in service to others as a physician, but at the same time looking to create or optimize medical devices to better serve them in the process.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a junior in BSc focused on watershed and environmental health. I have a minor in green engineering. I chose BSc because I want to make sure that our water resources stay clean for the future. We got to make sure we have enough water to drink. Last year I took a co-op with a paper mill and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully in the future I will become an environmental engineer at some form of industrial site so that I can make sure that industry doesn't continue to pollute our streams.
Hey guys, my name is Kieran and I'm a senior in BSc this year. So one of the main reasons I chose BSc as my major is because of the versatility. As a pre-med student, BSc has allowed me to intertwine my passions for both science and engineering through taking science classes like microbiome or genetics, as well as engineering classes like fluid mechanics or protein separation, not to mention the super cool labs available too. So with the health professions path, I was able to get all my pre-med requirements relatively easily and bridge the gap between these two pretty unique fields. So following graduation, I plan on taking a gap year and attending medical school and hopefully becoming a physician.
Hi everyone, my name's Madeline and I'm a senior studying biological systems engineering with a focus in environmental health and watershed science. I initially chose to major in BSc because I wanted a department where I could get involved in and gain that hands-on experience in. I think BSc does a great job of teaching the students the methods and processes of how to solve problems and then providing the labs for students to work those problems out themselves. I've been in both indoor and outdoor labs where I'm surveying the cross-section of a stream and taking velocity measurements, which I think really exposes students to future work they could be doing. I've been doing undergraduate research for over a year now, and I think the department really encourages students to get more involved while also providing opportunities like research to get involved in. In the future, I hope to work internationally, hopefully focusing on water quality, water resources, and sustainability. Thanks, and go Hokies!
Hi, so why did I decide to be in BSc? So I've always been interested in making products and processes possible. So originally I looked into chemical engineering, but how chemical engineering was portrayed to me was, oh, you're doing that but with paint and tires and things like that. And I was like, oh, those things don't interest me very much. So I was like, why don't we try doing the same thing but with a splash of biology in it? And when you put that all together, you pretty much get BSc. So let's see, what am I specializing in? I'm specializing in food engineering and biotechnology, and for obvious reasons, who doesn't love food? And then I just always had a general interest in bacteria and enzymes and things like that. And what would I like to do in the future? So again, summing all of that up, working in the biotech space, the food space, or potentially even the cosmetic space, and doing things like engineering support to R&D. So working in that phase where you're doing research and development to generate a product and then scaling that up, as well as just developing processes and maintaining processes in general. So yeah, that's why I'm in BSc.
We'll let our panel unmute, and if you want to ask questions, put questions in the Q&A box, we'd be happy to answer them. When do students become more specific with their major within the BSc department?
So I would say probably into your junior year, you start taking a couple of classes where you start to specialize, but really into your senior year. So for example, I'm in food engineering. That's my my main out of the two tracks so that I'm doing. And for food engineering, essentially, I took, for example, like food process engineering. I'm taking that this semester as a senior. But then some other classes you're taking more like specifically biotechnology or food like geared tracks junior year, whereas some people will be taking more water things junior year. And then you'll, again, senior year, it's even more honed in on what you're looking at. Hopefully that answers your questions.
Jackie, what about you in water? Did you maybe started a little earlier than Hannah did?
Yeah, I started to decide the spring of my freshman year, and then started taking those biology classes in the beginning of sophomore year to kind of stay ahead in the science area. So I would say the end of freshman year.
And Kieran, with pre-med, you were probably starting a little sooner.
Yeah, so a lot of the BSc specific classes I would say are like junior year. But for me personally, I'm pre-med, so I took a lot of the science classes sophomore or even freshman year. So it was kind of a nice balance. Like I wasn't just exposed to like what I want to do super late. I kind of had like a good balance, I would say.
Okay. All right. Thank you, panel. Our next one, our next question was, what are some examples of employers that recruit in this major? So a lot of, biopharmaceutical, biotech, Merck, Pfizer, that sort of thing. And then on the watershed and environmental health side, consulting firms, nonprofits, government agencies, actually for both sides of that path. Pre-med, obviously, Kieran's intention and the other person in the video, Nick, are intending to go on to medical school and launch from there. So yeah, do you guys have any weigh in on, well, Hannah just did a co-op with Hershey, and we have had people hired there in the past. A lot of the food companies, I forgot to mention that. So that is another one. So those are the types of employers. What specific labs is BSc currently involved in that are available for undergraduate students? Are any of you actively doing research of the three of you? Are you in anyone's labs right now?
I'm doing research, but I'm in BME.
You're doing research in BME. So in answer to your question, Bella, all of the professors have active labs spanning across food and water quality and environmental health issues and vaccine development and metabolic engineering and food engineering, they all take on undergraduate researchers. And some of them take 2, some take as many as 12. It depends on the semester. Mostly it's for credit. Some summer, over the summer, some students end up being paid. So yeah, there are plenty of opportunities, and a lot of people in our department too, they end up doing research in other departments like biomedical, biochem, biology, HNFE, FS, food science and technology. There are opportunities all over campus for undergraduate research at Virginia Tech. Thank you for that question. What types of internships have you been involved with? And then the second part of that question is, what other activities on campus are you part of? Hannah, why don't you start with the internship question, and then we'll just move around there in terms of what other activities you currently are president of ASABE.
Got it. So I've had an internship experience as well as a co-op experience. So my internship was with a biotechnology company called Novozymes, where basically we work with bacteria to get them to essentially utilize the enzymes they already have in them for processes and basically making the processes more efficient. At Hershey, I did a lot of work with continuous improvement of current products, a lot of different ones, namely Rolo was the big one. But yeah, and then things off campus, I'm currently the president of ASABE, which is the BSc organization on campus. That is also a national organization. Volleyball, some other fun recreational things, but yeah, that's what I do. So.
All right, Jackie.
So my internship this past summer was with a company called Kimley Horn, which is kind of like an environmental consulting / civil engineering company. And then my sophomore year, I got the opportunity with some other people in the department to go to China and do an internship abroad there with an engineering firm. So that was a really cool experience and really gave me the opportunity to get close with a lot of people in the department. And then for other activities I'm involved with, I do club field hockey here at Tech, and I'm also in ASABE and ambassadors as well.
And Karen?
So for pre-med, internships aren't as big of a thing, but what I've done is like shadowing and working with physicians, things like that. And for activities, I'm president of the Undergraduate Biomedical Engineering Society. I'm in 2 fraternities, which are Delta Epsilon Mu and Sigma Phi Delta. I'm part of MedLife, which is like a service organization that raises money for low-income families in other countries, and some other smaller ones, but that's primarily it.
Were any of you part of the engineering living learning communities, and do you recommend, or do you have any experience in the honors college, was the question. Did anyone do living learning?
I did Hypatia.
Okay, Hannah did Hypatia. Would you recommend that?
Yeah, it was actually really good. My core friend group that I have now is still from Hypatia, so I would, and obviously Galileo, it's a group of guys and girls, but I would definitely recommend it. You do make a lot of friends and it's helpful. And obviously you're all studying similar things at the very beginning as freshmen, so it'll help you with, if you have questions about homework or things like that, it's actually a really good resource. So.
What types of labs are the BSE students exposed to? So why don't we just go around for any of you who've had lab experience on campus so far, if you want to jump into that, and then I can take it up from there.
Sure. So for undergraduate research lab, I basically, even though I'm in the food space, it sounds a little weird, I actually did biomedical undergraduate research. So the thing that we were researching is essentially you can take urine samples from people with different vast kidney diseases. And essentially you can take that sample, put it in a vial, and hit it with a Raman spectrometer. And essentially you'll get a graph that plots essentially peaks of concentration of certain molecules in that urine sample. And essentially what we were doing was generating a database of those graphs for various people with various diseases. So based off of the graph you got out, you could actually isolate if that person had a certain kidney disease specifically from their actual urine signature. So it's pretty cool if you're interested in biomedical stuff. That's under Dr. Sanger in our department. So that's some undergraduate lab research. So yeah.
So some of the research I did was more in the biomedical biomechanics department. So it's connected with the VT Med School. Basically, what it is a surgeon performs like a novel surgery technique on a rotator cuff of a sheep, and it's sent to VT, and we basically test the biomechanical integrity of the new tendon with the new suture compared to old sutures and see if it's effective and cost efficient. So, yeah, it's a lot of heavy BME work, but it's pretty fun. It's the orthopedic mechanobiology lab, if anyone's interested in that.
One of my favorite lab classes I took here at through BSc was non-point source pollution and assessment, in which we did a lot of water quality testing in the lab, testing for E. coli, pathogens, things like that. And then another lab I've done through BSc is field methods in hydrology, where we do a lot of discharge measurements. And that one's really cool because it's all outside, which is a lot of fun.
All right. And we do have other faculty in our department who do other research related to water quality, environmental health, food engineering, metabolic engineering, biofuels, vaccine development, nicotine addiction research, and trying to think of some of the other ones. I think I've covered most of them, but you can visit our website to look at more what the faculty does in terms of research, but it's very, very heavily encouraged. Question next. Next question is about study abroad sponsored locations. The majority of our students who go abroad go to UC Dublin in Ireland because they have a BSc department that offers classes that will make sure that you stay in alignment for graduating in 4 years. So most students who go there go junior spring, and they take their senior design prereqs abroad. We have anywhere from 3 to 6 go any given junior spring. I have had students go elsewhere. There are plenty of other places in the world to go, but the key is that you have to find key courses that will keep you in alignment unless you are wanting to add a 5th year, which many people also do that. You could go virtually anywhere if you're adding a 5th year. Some people will do a study abroad semester paired with a co-op another semester. So really you're only paying for one additional semester, and the co-op semester you're being paid. So it just depends. Answer to that one. What is the next question is, what is the percentage of placement after graduation? I assume you're talking jobs and grad school. I keep very close track of that, but some students don't respond. After 6 months after graduation, they've stopped using their hokey email. But generally speaking, I would say prior to graduation, roughly 60 to 70% have graduate and job placements. And then within 6 months of graduation, the majority of that remaining 30 to 40% finds placements. Of course, people who don't respond, I can't speak for where they end up, but for the majority who do respond, those would be the percentages. The next question, are any aspects of BSc heavily influenced by genetics? So, Kieran, would you have a say on that?
So basically, one of my favorite parts of BSc is like the versatility. So I haven't taken genetics yet, but it's in my pathway. I'm supposed to take it like next semester. So I would just say if there's something you enjoy, like a passion you have, that's relatively related to like biology or engineering, you can pursue that in BSc. Like there's genetic labs for research as well. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I think there are definitely aspects of BSc that are related to genetics.
Yeah, probably I would say Sanger's and maybe Dr. Zhang's labs. I would probably be. Hannah, would you say that?
Yeah, so I definitely say the track that I was in, Dr. Sanger has 2 separate labs, and I was trying to get into the other one, so that's why I was working in the urine one. But the other one is essentially using the plasmids and bacteria, and basically you're genetically engineering those plasmids to put in whatever genetic code you want to make them produce a specific protein. So you're definitely using genetics for that one. So I definitely say genetics is definitely being used for sure.
Okay, thank you, team. Our next question is, what is student life like for BSE students? Specifically, what is the environment like? Is it collaborative or competitive? And this is a secondary thing, what extracurricular opportunities, I think they mean, what are the extracurricular opportunities there?
Sure.
I found, oh, sorry.
You go first.
Okay. I found it to be extremely collaborative. Like, you never have to worry if someone knows how to do something or has notes, they'll always be willing to help you. No one is really like trying to get themselves ahead without helping other people. So that's been really nice. And then in terms of extracurriculars, related to the department, there's ASABE, there's Society of Women's Engineers, and then like not related to engineering, there's club sports that you can get involved with.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go next. So definitely for activities, I would definitely say I will support ASABI because I'm the president of ASABI, which is essentially the BSE organization. It's a national organization, but we have a campus chapter I'm the president of. And it'll give you exposure to things like people from the industry that'll come and talk. It'll give you exposure to the professors that'll come talk about their undergraduate research, and you can reach out to them from there. A bunch of different things, and we also do fun things like pumpkin carving in October. So let's see what else. The other question was
about whether it's collaborative.
Yeah, it's definitely collaborative. Even though I took a year off and came back, so a lot of you people are very new to me, Kieran and Jackie included. So, but I've actually made lots of different friends from this new class, and we've been working together on senior design and things like that. So they definitely encourage, and everyone's super helpful. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's extremely collaborative, which is like one really cool thing that I like about the major. You get into your friend groups like very closely junior year, I'd say, and sophomore year as well. But those are some friendships you're gonna make for life, and we work together really well. So it's a really good time, I'd say. And then extracurricular opportunities, there's a bunch. I mean, there's Undergraduate Biomedical Engineering Society, and there's a lot of extracurricular opportunities not related to BSE, of course, that you can pursue if you'd like. So, yeah.
How many students are in BSE? Currently, we have 187 undergraduates, and I think we have around 26 graduate students. Okay, next question. How many required classes are there for this major? Overall, the major seems pretty open. So there are 87 credits of required classes, which includes your general education pathways requirements. And then the other classes are electives. There's 12 credits of BSE electives, 3 credits worth of chemistry electives, 6 credits worth of technical electives, 9 credits worth of engineering topics electives. And of these 3 on the panel, they all would have clustered their electives differently towards their chosen career path. So Hannah was choosing electives related to food and biotechnology. Kieran was using most of his electives towards the MCAT requirements, and Jackie was using electives towards watershed management and environmental health. So if you have any further questions, my email, I'm the academic advisor for BSE. My email is bseadvising@vt.edu. And if you want to speak further to any of our panelists who have specific interests aligned with your own, you can just let me know that in your email and I can contact you with them. And thank you all so much for coming. Go Hokies.